Hello, Broken Arrow. My name is Charlie Bright, and I am the Director of Engineering and Construction. Today I have with me Kenny Schwab, who is our Assistant City Manager over Operations. Today we're here in Driving BA, and we're actually taking a look in the rearview mirror and looking at some projects we completed in the past. We're going to look at Washington Street all the way from Garnett to Aspen, which the city has completed over about 3 phases and a few different projects.
All right, so the first phase of this was actually started, I believe, in 2019, 2020, and it was actually Washington from Garnett to Olive. Used to be a 3-lane street. Tying in on the west side was the Tulsa streets, and they had like a 5-lane, so you got delayed times at the intersection of Garnett. We started the contract, started putting in a water line, actually ran into some problems with a private utility company that really delayed the contract. I want to say almost a year. It put it back about a year. When we finally got that moved and got all the utilities adjusted, we were able to pick back up on the roadway. Well, then COVID hit. We were in the COVID time and it was creating some delays. Bottom line is the city of Broken Arrow actually went in and took the project over with our own crews. We changed ordered out a lot of the work, and our street and stormwater team, they came out and built this 5-lane roadway for the full mile. Took us, I think, from like September to around April of the following year. We committed and dedicated our crews because the public had suffered such a long time on this area. It was fantastic. One point in time, Charlie, we had 65 people out here working. We also slowed the work down, the speed zone. We made it 17 miles an hour to catch people's attention. It was a fantastic retaining wall, increased some of the box structures, drainage. Turned out to be an incredible roadway for us. Our crews were fantastic.
It really was impressive how many people we had out there and the work that they did. One thing I really appreciated about the project is the delay times we had, as you mentioned, coming up to Garnett Street. Prior to the project, we had pretty significant delays as kind of in the afternoon rush hours. Vehicles were coming home, and if you drive that road today, you notice those delays have pretty much diminished. Get through that corridor a lot faster. Get out to work in the morning and home in the evening.
As soon as we got done with Washington from Garnett to Olive, we were actually ready to move forward with the next mile, but we waited a little while because we had impacted the traveling public for 2 solid years in this area, so we wanted to give them a little bit of a reprieve. So we waited about a year, came back and did the next mile, and that would have been from Olive to Aspen, that section. Did that by contract, and that actually was funded out of the 2018 bond. So the first mile was funded out of the 2014 bond, the second mile was out of the 2018. But in the interim, we'd already done the intersection at Aspen and Washington as well. That was started the design in 2017, but we used 2018 bond monies to fix that.
When you look at the project as a total, like all 3 phases, you create that corridor from Highway 169 down into the heart of Broken Arrow.
Exactly.
And I think it brings attention to what we're doing today. You move a mile north and we're doing the same thing. We're creating that corridor, Houston Street, all the way from Garnett, 169, where Tulsa takes over. We're working on that corridor up to Olive, and as soon as we're done on Olive, we plan on shifting and going to the next mile, Olive to Aspen.
Historically, Broken Arrow was a north-south community. We've talked about that before a couple of times, where the people lived in Broken Arrow. They wanted to get to the Broken Arrow Expressway, go to work at Tulsa, and then they came home. So you were using Aspen, you were using Elm, and even Lynn Lane to a little bit lesser degree, but now quite a bit. Those were the 3 main streets to get traffic in and out of Broken Arrow. That changed about 20, 25 years ago, and now you see this east-west connection. What you see today is Washington was so critical to getting it to a 5-lane roadway from what you just said, basically the Tulsa area and 169 all the way now to Elm. Now the intersection that we were talking about at Aspen, that was one of the worst intersections in Broken Arrow. I know you grew up there around that area. And you can probably remember it was just how rough it was for years getting through that intersection. It is completely different today.
Yeah, and you don't hear any complaints about it today. You ever go to that intersection, there's a lot of vehicles there, but they get through in a timely manner.
How quickly we kind of forget how bad some of the roadways were until they got repaired. And then once you get them fixed and widened and improved, People enjoy it. They love it because of what you said earlier. Your less delay time, your travel time's quicker.
As a growing community, I think it's important to get to a 5-lane section on these roads. You see it all the time from citizens saying, hey, every road should be 5 lanes. I mean, we agree, you're gonna get there, but it takes time, it takes money. The important thing is we have the corridor, it is 5 lanes. Pavement's usually designed for a lifespan of 20, 25 years. But the important thing is when that lifespan runs out, we don't have to go rebuild a whole new wide road. We just gotta rehab it at that point. You know, we can do a mill and overlay, put down a fresh surface, but we're not widening the road again.
The Washington Street, it was so critical. It's been in previous bond, started like in the 2014 bond, but now you take a look at the connectivity that we have, the improvement, the work that's been done and performed. All I've heard from the residents is how nice it is.
I agree.